you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a minute, so please do find your seat. Wow, that may be the quickest people came together and got quiet probably at any event that I've ever been a part of, so that was amazing. Thank you all very much. Good morning. I am Michael Jacobson, President and CEO of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the 2019 and 20 Arlington Independent School District Annual State of the District Luncheon. I'm honored to stand here in front of the passionate and servant leadership that has been gathered here today. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, let's recognize the great music provided by a quartet from Martin High School under the direction of Jamie Oval. They are outstanding musicians. Dr. Cavazos, this room is not big enough to hold everybody that wants to hear your State of the District report. To provide coverage for those who can't be here, we are live streaming on AISD.net, and we thank Spence for his expertise. And we welcome everybody that is here online and all the guests that are here in the room. Most of you have heard the mission of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. Together we champion economic and community prosperity. The accomplishments being made by the Board of Trustees, our superintendents, our principals, teachers, and administrators provide the foundation to deliver on our economic and community prosperity. We thank you and we celebrate you for your dedication toward the advancement of education in the communities we serve. Dr. Cavazos and our Board of Trustees, every year it seems like we get more accolades for the great work that you are doing. But before we hear about the accomplishments achieved and the opportunities ahead of all of us, I invite the honor guard of the 31st Junior ROTC to colors. The cadets representing all Arlington ISD high schools are instructed by Major David T. Gray, United States Air Force, retired. Let's all stand. For the opportunities our country offers to the youth of America, please stand for the singing of the national anthem. We welcome Danny Bass, a senior from Lamar High School, to the stage.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to the 31st Honor Guard and to Danny Bass. They represent the best that our district has to offer. Great job. You can all be seated. This event is made possible through the generous support from our business community. I'd like to extend a sincere thanks to all the businesses represented here today. Our business community acknowledges the importance of the AISD mission, and we anxiously await our future employees. Again, this year, our presenting sponsor is Baylor Scott & White Orthopedic and Spine, Hospital Arlington, also known as BOSHA. And here to say a few words is the President and CEO, Alan Beck.
All right, Michael, it's now B. Swosh, not BOSHA. We got this gone right. Now, we're very excited about being a presenting sponsor again this year for this great event. This fits squarely in our community pillars, the education pillar, one of our 4 pillars, so we're very excited about that. But I have to be honest, there's a selfish reason that we selected today. I've been trying to get a meeting with Dr. Cavazos for a couple of weeks now. And they told us if we're presenting sponsor, we'll be seated at his table. We're close. So, Dr. Cavazos, you're getting very expensive. So, call me. No, we are excited about being the sponsor this year. If you've attended in the past, you're familiar with the great presentation. If this is new for you, you're going to get a lot of great information and a significant entertainment value of Dr. Cavazos. But I do have to give a quick plug. You're going to hear some great information about what's going on in the school district, but we do have 2 organizations in our community that also help and support the school district, and that is the AWARE Foundation, and I think there's a group here from AWARE, saw them earlier, and the Arlington AISD Education Foundation group in the back. These are 2 nonprofits that do great work and support the school district in many ways. So I ask you to support those organizations throughout the year, and we look forward to hearing this great presentation by Dr. Cavazos, and we're proud to be sponsoring this event. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alan, for your investment in our community, your support to all these organizations. Thank you for calling out those very worthy organizations as well. I'd now like to recognize all of today's sponsors. Now, they keep trying to me to say, hold your applause, and as a matter of fact, see, I can show you. The text is even getting really big, telling people to hold. I'm not going to tell you hold your applause. Applause, all you want. Our superintendent level sponsors are Linebarger, Attorneys at Law, Payco Southwest Realty, Stripazone, the University of Texas at Arlington. Our principal level sponsors are the City of Arlington, the Arlington Convention and Visitors Bureau, Kernut and Hafer, Dan Dipert Coaches, LBL Architects, and Encore Electric Delivery. Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott. There we go. Tarrant County College Southeast Campus, WRA Architects, Ron Wright for Congress campaign. Our teacher level sponsors are Affiliated Bank, Arlington Board of Realtors, Arlington ISD Education Foundation, Arlington United Educators Association, Frost Bank, PSK, Pantego EDC and Town of Pantego, Simmons Bank, Six Flags Over Texas Hurricane Harbor, Texas Rangers Baseball, Texas Trust Credit Union, Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County. All right, our printed sponsor is Digital Corporate Services. Photography is provided by Terry Ip Photography and Southern Flair Photography. Marcelo, be ready for this podium because the script will be down at your belly button. But anyway, we thank all of you today's sponsors for the investment in state of the district. We're privileged also to have a host of elected officials here to show their support for Arlington ISD. I'm going to ask each of them to stand and to remain standing, and in this instance, I am going to ask you to hold your applause. So please, when I say your name, stand, keep standing, and then we'll do a big round of applause at the end. Representing us in Washington, D.C. is Congressman Ron Wright. From the state of Texas, we have Representative Tony Tinderholt, Representative Chris Turner, Representative Bill Zedler. From the county, we have with us Judge Glenn Whitley, Commissioner Devin Allen, Wendy Burgess, the tax assessor collector, Judge Mary Tom Kernut, and Constable David Woodruff. From the city of Arlington, I think we have a full house here today. That's great. We have our mayor, Jeff Williams. We have council members Sherry Capehart, Dr. Victoria Farrar Myers, Helen Moise, Dr. Ignacio Nunez, Barbara Odom Wesley, Andrew Peel, Robert Shepard, and Marvin Sutton. From the town of Pantego, we have council members Fred Adair, Don Surratt, and Amy Wade. We are pleased to introduce the leaders and other community education partners. From the University of Texas, we have the Dean of the College of Business, Harry Dombrowski, and we have the Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Teresa Dowdy. We also have Dr. Eugene Giovannini, the Chancellor of the Tarrant County Community College District, and the President of Tarrant County College Southeast Campus, Bill Capola. Two others that I want to mention because they work hard every day for their respective cities are Arlington City Manager Trey Yelverton and our Pantego City Manager Matt Fielder. And don't think I forgot a group of elected individuals, the Board of Trustees. They'll be introduced later. So for everybody, let's give them a big round of applause. The Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce is proud to be associated with Arlington ISD. We thank Dr. Cavazos and the Board of Trustees for allowing the Chamber to participate in programs from scholarships to practicums and internships to entrepreneurship and many more development programs. We're doing great work together and we appreciate it very much. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't thank our Chamber education volunteers who devote so much time in executing really first-class programs. The Chamber's Partner in Education Committee spend countless hours judging the Big Idea Contest, which, by the way, had almost 6,000 entries. So judging 6,000 entries takes some time. Scholarship submissions, guest lecturing, event support, they do so much work. I'm going to ask them to stand, and we'll give them a big round of applause as well. So our Partners in Education Committee members. Here, stand. If you're a... I now have the pleasure of inviting the President of Arlington ISD Board of Trustees, Keisha Mays, to the podium. Let's show our appreciation for the entire Board of Trustees. We're fortunate to have really accomplished leadership. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us to share the innovative learning experiences and the top-notch educational opportunities our students here in Arlington ISD have. I would like to start off by thanking the Arlington Chamber of Commerce, led by Michael Jacobson, for hosting this event. I would also like to thank our Capital Needs Steering Committee, which was co-chaired by Jeannie DeKine and Gary Hill. Please stand and be recognized. This committee has been meeting and studying to help make recommendations concerning our capital needs since January. Thank you for your time. I would also like to introduce the rest of my board. We have Bowie Hogg, Vice President. Polly Walton, Secretary. Dr. Aaron Reich, Immediate Past President. And board members Justin Chapa, Melody Fowler, and David Wilbanks. And thank you all for your service. There are more opportunities and more access for our students here in AISD than there have ever been before. Our students today dream big, work towards bigger goals, Most of these goals are things that you and I could have never imagined when we were in elementary, junior high, or high school. It has been a blessing as a current board member, my colleagues, past board members, to see that our community, our business owners, our teachers, our residents, our parents, have all stepped up to help make the dreams of our students a reality. Through our 2014 bond program, we have built facilities like the Dan Dipert Career and Technology Center. I see you, Mr. Dipert. And soon completing our new Fine Arts Center and Athletics Complex, where students will continue to expand on their dreams. We are creating specialized programs and hiring teachers to help guide our students through those programs. We have partners in our Arlington business community, many of whom are here today, who have helped our students to realize these dreams through internships or giving them careers as immediate graduates. As a matter of fact, if you are related to any business here who has donated resources to help sponsor our students and/or provided internships or hired any of our immediate graduates, would you please stand and be recognized at this time? That's what it's really all about. Today, our village in Arlington is raising our students who are accomplishing great things because you have helped tear down previous barriers. Transportation, access, opportunities. You're helping to remove those barriers so that our students can be successful. Thank you for saying yes, for helping us focus forward, and for believing in those dreams of our students so that they can truly become a reality. I hope that everyone enjoys this meeting we have here together. And now it is my honor to introduce the leader at the helm of Arlington ISD. He's full of wisdom, compassion, doesn't really need a script, and yes, humor. Please welcome the Arlington ISD Superintendent, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos.
Thank you so much. And apparently the jokes and all that started already. So the way it works is we announce a partnership, then we have a meeting. I'm kidding. A big donation, then a meeting. We can have a meeting. No. All right, just kidding there. This first and foremost, I want to thank you for being here today. This is a special opportunity that we have every year to get together, to share some exciting news about our students, to share some successes, but also to share together the trajectory of our school district. And I'm blessed to be the superintendent of Arlington ISD. As you notice in the program, I've been in Arlington 20 years now, and not a superintendent. I've had 7 of those. But I am blessed to be here. This is a great community. This is home, and we love where we are. So thank you so much. And so we'll get started with this discussion. And you're right, Michael, it's hard to see the script down here, but we'll work on it. Oh, well, maybe we'll just throw it away and make fun of people. Yeah? That's going to happen anyway, by the way. All right. I've called today Focus Forward because I realize that as we focus forward, we can accomplish so much. And I'll tell you that the first and foremost, because I sometimes don't spend enough time really crystallizing the impact that this team has, our Board of Trustees, focused forward. And so I appreciate the work of the board. We spend more time together than they want to spend with me, probably. But we spend more time together, and I sincerely appreciate them. Let's give them another round of applause. So I love the slides. There won't be that many slides, but this one in particular, what's going through his mind is, it's an iPad, old man, it's an iPad. I heard, thank you for all you do, Mr. Superintendent. Selective hearing. All right. Anyway, our shared vision is that 100% of our students will leave this district prepared for college, career, and citizenship. And that's our shared vision in Arlington. But it's not just ours as a staff and as teachers and students. It's ours as a community. And today with this, we'll see how this actually is playing out. So it's grounded on our 3 areas of focus. And so the stories today and the highlights that I'm going to give today are related to these 3 areas of focus. And many times organizations have many areas of focus. And we know it's important when we are able to narrow that down and be clear about what drives this organization. And these 3 areas of focus are learner experience, which encompasses everything that happens in our schools with our students from the time they come to our schools at an early age to the time they exit as a high school graduate. College and career ready, laser focused on the fact that we are trying to accomplish something for these young people so that they can be college career ready. And then grow and develop our people. And I've shared this before. Facilities are great. They really are. They provide opportunities. Classrooms, etc. But ultimately, it is the people in the organization that make the biggest difference, whether students learn and whether they have success. And so we're focused on growing and developing our people. So we'll start with the learner experience. Give you a perspective. 5 years ago, a team of teachers and principal at Martin High School had a dream about starting a STEM academy. And okay, so the dream was a little bit populated by Central as well, but they had a dream, and they felt that that is the place, STEM Academy at Martin High School would be the place that could happen. So they made that program available to incoming 9th graders through application 4 years ago. And 4 years ago quickly passes, and they welcome students. Just over 100 this year were accepted to the program. 4 years ago, I should say 175 approximately, thank you. I get a lot of help. They're all going like this back there. That's normal, but 175 were accepted this year. 4 years ago, 100 were accepted. We've grown the program. And so in May, this past May, 110 of them graduated from the STEM Academy at Martin, the first graduating class from the STEM Academy at Martin. And so time really flies, and it flies fast, and that's been 4 years. If you look at some of those pictures, some of these is when they were in their freshman year. These students attended engineering, math, and science classes at UT Arlington as juniors and seniors in high school. They were sitting next to college students and competing in their college courses. And UTA is an outstanding partner in this effort. Bold vision that this can be accomplished. So, one of those places, and many of those places I should say, is UTA, where these students actually went to college. And so you see in that slide all the places that the 109 out of the 110 graduates went. Don't feel bad for the 110th because he is in the United States Marine Corps. And so, yeah, you can give that round of applause. So you can see that our students are headed all over the country, with many of them, which would make us very proud, here at UT Arlington. Strong, strong support from UT Arlington. Also other universities, like UT Austin. What an awesome place. A&M. I knew that was coming. TCU and many other outstanding universities. The rest are headed to Brigham Young, Notre Dame, USC, Carnegie Mellon, and other fantastic universities across this country. Special recognition for 2 students that went through the STEM Academy. Those 2 students ended up at MIT. 2 students from Martin High School ended up at MIT in the STEM Academy. And I'll tell you, it's not very easy to get into MIT. How many of you have? See how it's not easy? So I thought I'd ask, and you don't have to answer, this is more rhetorical. Mr. Chapa, is it easier to get into Harvard or MIT? Harvard. It's easier to get into Harvard than MIT. I think he's being serious because Justin doesn't joke around. All right, so he actually analyzed the data and he figured it out. We appreciate that, Justin. So Trinity Stallings and Sam Maldonado have been friends since they met on the bus. Remember, our STEM Academy comes from all the districts. It's not just Martin High School feeder. And they met on the bus, and they became friends. And now they're going together to MIT. What they knew when they started the STEM Academy, was that they weren't sure if that was the right place for them. That's what they knew when they started. And through the transformation work that's happening at our STEM Academy at our high school, what they exit with is a tremendous opportunity and bold confidence that these two young ladies from different backgrounds, different parts of town, are able to compete and compete well and enter into MIT. What an outstanding experience. Because of great teachers, and we have one of them here today from the STEM Academy, I think. Marianne Varner, are you here? Maybe not. Marianne? Marianne is here. Marianne. Remain standing. So Marianne, we asked her to explain a little bit about these students and her experience. And Marianne, not to point you out, but that's what we're doing, by the way, has been a long-time teacher in Arlington. Is that a nice way of saying it? Let's say again. Starting year 34. Starting year 34. Marianne was one of those teachers 4 years ago that started this, the energy behind this, and she describes the students as having a high risk tolerance. They have no fear. They take chances, and they take advantage of every opportunity. That's how she describes these students. And I'm here today to tell you that, Marianne, that's how I could describe you. Risk taker, high tolerance for taking a risk, pushing the organization in a nice way, pushing the organization to be better and do better. Marianne is a great example of the teachers we have across this entire district. Marianne, thank you for your commitment and dedication to our students over so many years. I appreciate it. So, where do we go from here? Focused forward, right? And so as we look at, and hopefully you saw that solar car out there that the Martin High School STEM Academy students built. They built it. I remember the day that I got a call from Marlene Roddy, the principal there, who also has a lot of experience. I won't say how many years, but has a lot of experience getting what she wants. That's the truth also. Principals have to find a way to do that. And she said, I want to invite you over. Some students are doing some presentations, and they'd love for you to be the one that hears the presentations. I said, fantastic, Marlene. I'd be happy to come over. And so I get there, and it's only me and Marlene. But I'm sitting like over here. Marlene's over there with the students and the teachers, so it's like it's me. And all this about a car and this, and I'm like, well, this is very fascinating. This is very interesting. And they said, and we want to buy the kit. We want to buy the equipment. We want to build the solar car. And I looked at Marlene, and I said, well, what does your principal think? That was a rhetorical question. She was right there with them on their side, right? But what actually came out of that was, again, an inspiration from our students pushing us to be better, to be better. They wanted some money, that's true, but they raised a lot of the money. That's true also. And so this summer at the Texas Motor Speedway, which is where the competition is for solar car competition, which there are school districts across the state and nation that come to that. They placed 3rd out of 33, the first time they launched their STEM Academy camp. They have a VIN number. It's a very fascinating. Our purchasing department struggled a little bit. How in the world do you pay for solar panels? But, well, they figured it out. It presses the system. So this coming fall, we're opening Piercy STEM Academy, Piercy STEM Academy, Wimbish World Language Academy, the Crow Leadership Academy, which will have an elementary IB program, which are not very many in the state of Texas. And then we're opening our second early college high school, thanks to the cooperation and partnership with TCC. And so I appreciate that. This is another way that we're expanding the opportunities for our students in Arlington and making sure that they realize their dreams. As we continue to look kind of back and then forward, 4 years ago, we were focused on the learner experience when we launched the first set of Fine Arts Dual Language Academies at Corey and Jones. Who was that, Corey or Jones? Sounded like Jones. I'm kidding. Okay. When we first started, the demand, quite frankly, the demand when we first started these programs was not very high. So we were recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. Last year, 600 applicants for 190 seats at these two academies. And what that shows is that when AISD in our community focuses forward and says this is going to be done with excellence, we're going to hire and make sure we have the best staff, teachers, support in our specialized program. That's the kind of demand that drives. So let's give a round of applause for Corey and Jones Academy. And as they continue, because they are now going to be fourth graders, the first cohort, remember we're focused forward, they're going to continue into Gunn Junior High when they become sixth graders. And Gunn Junior High, currently, we're planning that, to transform into the Gunn Academy of Fine Arts and Dual Language, so that our elementary students, when they can continue this experience at junior high, will have a unique learning experience as well, continue their language and their arts and their specializations at the junior high level. And also at the high school level, we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. I do want to take just a moment to thank our Chief Academic Officer, who a lot of people that report to him and departments and all that kind of stuff deal with the curriculum of this program, which is not easy, and all the programs across the district. So our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Stephen Wertz, are you here, Dr. Wertz? Would you please stand up and let's thank him for his leadership. All right, so as we continue to look forward, we're looking at this great opportunity. And some of you may have heard and been reading about House Bill 3. Does that sound familiar to some of you? House Bill 3, yeah? Got started at the Sheraton in Arlington. I'm kidding. That was for Judge Whitley. Yeah. If you don't know that, Google it. Where are you, Judge? Are you here? Yeah. There you are, Judge. Okay. He's just shaking his head. I've seen that shaking of head before. All right. But it did kind of start there, didn't it? Tip something over and whatever. Okay. So House Bill 3, to improve public education, one of the biggest components that we're excited is the inclusion of full-day pre-kinder. Full-day pre-kinder funded by the state. Let's give them a round of applause. Full-day pre-kinder. And I'll tell you that, talk about focused forward. We have been advocating for full-day pre-K, our board, myself, et cetera, staff, for years. And when there's an energy that comes together, a bipartisan energy with House Bill 3, we were there for the vote of House Bill 3. Buihog and Keisha, yes, and Cindy. I'm trying to remember who all was there. We're in the balcony. Interesting view when you're at the state legislature looking at that. And we were there for the vote. We wanted to vote, right? We wanted to vote yes too, right? When all those lights lit up, and thank you, Tony and others, Chris, I don't want to miss anybody, but I will. What's that? Bill Zettler. I don't want to miss you, Bill. We have a great relationship. Yeah. Listens to everything I say. We were there for the vote, and it was outstanding. It was a historic day. It really was. And so I'm so proud of our state leaders, and we'll talk more about them. We have plenty for them, but we'll thank them first. All right, so full day pre-K. We asked, let's ask some 4-year-olds about full day pre-K. This was challenging, okay? It's a very brief video clip, I think, but we'll ask them, and maybe we won't.
Reading a book and playing with toys and going outside. Homework is very important for the book. We play outside and play tag if we want to play tag. Then outside again.
There's a lot of other footage, but we captured the best. So the star of the video, Landon Smith, is with us here today, actually, with special guests April Lewis, Allison Evans, and Arnita Ware. Landon, where are you? And let's all wave at Landon. There's Landon. Full pre-K. If you ever want to meet one, all right, you can have some concept of how important it is for everybody in the organization. I also want to recognize Dr. Jacqueline Orsini, who is the Director of Early Learning. Her sole focus is to make sure that they create Orsini. It increases math score. We'll be implementing pre-K process system. Thank you for your support, a full day. All right, we're going to move on to the 2014, and we have one still being completed, and I want to give you a sense of how important it is that our facilities match our expectations. And so, the last two facilities that will be built as part of the $660 result of. Take a moment to thank the city for their partnership, the natatorium, to see all kinds of funds. I won't go into detail, maybe, but you've contributed to that natatorium so that it can be right-sized, host pool, so they can use for parks and recreation over an extended period of time. And that's a commitment from our city. We don't take it lightly. So thank you to our city. Let's give them a round of applause. So we haven't had a natatorium in Arlington. This is our first one, right? And so there's a lot. And because the city contributed, Jeff and Trey want to do synchronized swimming. Okay? And I no lie. And so I said, you know, you have to get in line. We have students that we have to serve, right? It would be an awesome thing. We have swim caps. Not everybody here needs a swim cap. Bill, Tony. But you in that swimming. All right. Up a high expectation here. So the outcomes on the 2014 bond, and I won't read any project completed. Technology access, security cameras, fine arts. 2 elementary schools have been built. 2 fine arts and dual language academies. The Dan Dipert Career Tech Center, Ag Center, junior high improvements. These are all part of those outcomes. Special education, fine arts center, athletics complex. 2 STEM labs at every elementary. The fine arts and career tech improvements at our high school. Condition, a lot of condition work, parking lots, roofs, HVAC. Those are some of the outcomes of the 2014 bond. And at this time, I'd like to take a moment to thank, because sometimes they get a thank you. Most of the time, they just do their and our executive assistance within budget. And in 2014, when the bond passed, that was before. And Kelly Horn, would you please stand? And so, because there's no rest for them, we move on to the 2019 bond. We said in 2014 it would be a 5-year bond, and here we are, 2019. And a committee of dedicated volunteers, staff, community, have come together. We've spent over a year assessing our facilities and our needs and our programming, hundreds and hundreds of hours. And we've looked at different areas for improvement. And those are facilities, safety, security, and technology, fine arts, and transportation. And so, you can see that. So here are some things in the 2019 bond recommendation. Now, I'll give you kind of the end of the story. The board has to call the election by August 19th. We're still in that deliberative process, so I don't want to get ahead of their ideas and input, et cetera. They've had a lot of opportunities, and so we were still dealing with some of the tweaking on some of this. But overall, we have aging schools in Arlington, as you know. So part of this bond recommendation is to replace, not repair, but completely replace and rebuild Carter Junior High. If you're familiar with our district and you know Carter Junior High, one of the oldest facilities we have. It's safe. I have to say that. It really is. It's that we're investing so much to improve it. It's not yielding a return in the learning spaces for our students. So rebuilding, replacing Carter Junior High, Webb Elementary. You're familiar with Webb Elementary off of Cooper. Thornton Elementary, Berry Elementary. Completely replacing those schools and rebuilding them. It's an important step in Arlington. With our 2014 bond, we did a lot of improvements. We repurposed, we consolidated schools. We knocked down Hutchinson Junior High, built the Career Tech Center. We made some enormous progress. The next chapter of that is to rebuild our aging schools. And so those are some. We would also close and consolidate Roark and Knox Elementaries. And I'll tell you that, and I've shared this with principals just yesterday, we had, and their assistant principals, all the leadership team here. Closing a school, consolidating a school is not an easy task. And I don't mean just easy in terms of political or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not an easy task to do that, but the outcome is that these students would be in new, modern learning facilities. And to me, that outweighs, and to us as a community, that outweighs the fact that we have to consolidate some schools, some aging schools. So it's also part of that efficiency. So safety, security, and technology, we're for Fine Arts and Dual Language Academy. So as these students I talked about, Corey and Jones, they go to junior high, then they're going to go to high school. Same pattern in terms of repurposing some of that space. Program contingency, district-wide pre-K. So while I said it was a funded mandate, I hardly have ever said that, a funded mandate. It actually sounds pretty good. I know Tony Tinderholt and I have always, we've dreamed for a funded mandate, right, Tony? And others, not just Tony, but we have had spirited discussions. And so a funded mandate, but not the facilities. The funding is for teachers, which, hiring teachers, and which we appreciate because it's very necessary, but not the facilities. So this bond would have improvements for pre-K. Right-sizing Gunn Junior High for district fine arts and dual language, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, technology, district-wide elementary playground replacements. This got an applause. And when you're, 2 days in leadership training with the principals, that's long days. This was yesterday and the day before, and they were all in here, the assistant principals, deans, and principals. And when I said that part of this is district-wide elementary playground, in other words, redoing the playgrounds for accessibility and putting a cover, it got an applause. And it was after they were, had been here 2 days for their academy. So that's a good thing. We know that that's important for access. Renovations of one additional high school competition field. This is an important one. They're all important, but I'll highlight this one as well. So we currently have 2 stadiums. They're very, very modest stadiums. If you've been to Cravens and Wildman, you know they're very modest. And we play at UTA, right? And I'm kind of glad Kabari is not here because it helps in this little story, maybe. So at UTA, we play, because we need 3 stadiums in Arlington to meet the needs of our 6 high schools. So we play at UTA. And we are like That person, that last person in the party that won't leave. That's us. Kabari's turning down the lights. We're still here. Kabari has his pajamas on, ready to go to bed. We're still here, Kabari, right? That's us. Not that they don't want us at that stadium. They'd never say it like that. But they're ready to move on in terms of the use of that stadium. We don't have any other public entity renting that stadium. We're the last ones. And so we need to find a solution for that. So our solution is to redo and renovate one of our existing high school practice fields and renovate it to become the third competitive stadium area. Transportation, this is an important one. They're all important, but this is another one to highlight. Transportation to provide access to these programs and these opportunities for our students, really important. So transportation is part of that. Also in this bond is to make sure that we address the hazardous routes. The state does not fund, and this is not, we're not going to get into debate here, but they don't fund less than 2 miles if you live less than 2 miles from the school, right? That's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay for this purpose. And so what we're doing as part of this bond is we have purchasing enough buses to make sure we address those hazardous routes so that we provide transportation and access for students, which is outstanding. Right-sizing Bailey, building security and transportation facility. If you've ever been to our transportation and security facility off of Arkansas Lane, if you've been there, you got out, which is good. You found your way out. It is an old facility that really it doesn't meet the needs of our employees and our staff and our students. Flexible learning spaces, property acquisition, junior high competition field renovations, visual and fine arts. Renovate 2 floors to the Enterprise, high school career tech center. High school career tech opportunities. Continuing with the learner experience. Well, I should say something here. So with this recommendation, and again, we'll have a board meeting tomorrow and possibly next week as well, as we move into that deadline of the 19th to call the election for the board, if they so do, right? And so we know that the good news here, there's plenty of good news, but one of it is that with this bond recommendation, this amount, it will not require any tax rate increase at all because of payment of debt, values, economy, etc. So there's no tax rate increase as a result of this recommendation. Arlington ISD has never been in that situation, in that position, to be able to have a bond with no tax rate increase. And we can further discuss that if you'd like. That got kind of quiet. It's supposed to be good. All right. And Keisha already did this, but I want to recognize Gara Hill and Jeannie DeKine because they worked countless hours. Would you stand? Where are you? Jeannie DeKine? And Gara. Okay. Stay standing, please. Every time I tell them to stay standing, they get real nervous. But stay standing. So Gara Hill and Jeannie DeKine have worked as co-chairs of this committee. And they've dealt with 37 plus members, plus a lot of staff, et cetera. And they have led with purpose and integrity and focus. And so publicly, I want to thank you, Gara and Jeannie, for your leadership among a lot of things that you do for our district. This is a really important one, so thank you so much. One more round of applause for them. All right, so we've talked about the learner experience and some of the wonderful things that are happening at some of our academies. We also want to talk now about our grow and develop people. And so 3 years ago, we entered into this wonderful partnership with the Holdsworth Center for their leadership and partnership in helping our strategic plan accelerate in the area of leadership development. And so our Holdsworth, I'll get that out, our Holdsworth representatives, including the president, how many titles do you have? Just one? President, CEO, president? Including the president, are here today joining us. Would you stand if you're from the Holdsworth Center? Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. And you may not be familiar with the Holdsworth Center, but it's funded by Charles Butt, HEB and Central Market and all that. He put in $100 million into this effort to improve leadership in public education. And so part of that was defining our leadership model and what we expect, and some of the tenets of that: passion for the work, commitment to personal growth, and dedication to the team. These are just some of the foundational things that we have for our leaders, both aspirational and things that we're accomplishing. And so today I'd like to also recognize our elementary principal of the year, who is a great demonstration of these qualities, Dr. Stephanie Lee. Are you here, Dr. Lee? Where are you, Dr. Lee? Would you stand up? She didn't want to stand up. So Dr. Lee is the principal of Peach Elementary, and she's an outstanding leader. She's an outstanding leader in North Arlington. She's an outstanding leader as a principal, and she mentors and supports her staff and other principals in the district. Dr. Lee, thank you for your commitment to Arlington and our students. Thank you for being such an outstanding principal. Dr. Stephanie Lee. All right, House Bill 3, back to that. You're not off the hook yet. Also helped us with compensation for our teachers. There was a lot of debate about that. I won't go into all that because it's just kind of will get confusing, maybe. But a lot of debate. Ultimately, House Bill 3 passed, and it funded some compensation for teachers, increased compensation. And so that's really important as we continue to value and honor our teachers and make sure they're competitively compensated. We have a teacher academy in our school district of our students, and they look up to our teachers, and they're mentored by our teachers, and they come back to be our teachers in Arlington. And it's really important that we value, not just through accolades and otherwise, but we value their commitment. And so our board has taken bold steps in improving the salary and the compensation and the health care contribution to our teachers. All our employees but our teachers. So I appreciate that because that wasn't an easy step. And so through this process of the big debate about how much compensation and through House Bill 3 and all this kind of stuff, right? When we were there, back to that time that we were there to watch the vote, they had, I don't know, Chris, maybe you can help me. Where's Chris? Because I don't want to lose sight of him. Chris is right here. I don't know how many amendments that thing had. Well, it seemed more than that. But, okay, dozens. We'll go with that. Hundreds, thank you. It had like page after page, and we're flipping, and you know, it's like, and they voted down, voted this, and we're trying to keep track, right, Bowie? What is this, and how is this going to impact us? And well, who knows, because they just passed through. And they just go really fast. Then they got to one. Raise for all employees except administrators. Well, it eventually made it through, right, Chris? That kind of language, yeah? As soon as that passed, I got back to Arlington. People stopping me in the hall. Am I an administrator? Am I an administrator? Am I an administrator? Yes, you've been an administrator for many years. You still are. But that amendment, what does it mean? I said, it means you're an administrator. Okay, so, but that passed. And that had to be part of the compromise. Right, Chris? I don't want to tag you with that, but was that your amendment? It was. Okay, no, but no. However, no. Let's not do that to our friends, because I just was nice to Tony and Bill and everybody else. I got to be nice to everybody. That's Bill over there, if you didn't know. All right. So, however, in all fairness, this was a diligent bipartisan effort, and it was give and take. And to get certain things, you have to give certain things. And don't worry, our administrators are getting a raise. They're getting it through local funds and board approved and all that. So it's all ultimately good. It's not good forever, so we're not going to let everybody off the hook. But it is a bold, important step for that. So thank you so much for your leadership and everybody's leadership, including the ones that aren't here, for that House Bill 3. It really is going to make a big difference. And there's so many other things in House Bill 3, I don't have time, because how many pages was that? I don't want to put you in the spot, but it was a bunch of pages. Yeah. He stopped reading halfway. All right. Not you, Chris, the people. All right, so as we continue our, that's what you get when you sit in the front. All right, as we continue our grow and develop our people, part of our artwork today is the same artwork that we have displayed at the stadium, at AT&T Stadium, as part of our partnership with the Dallas Cowboys. And so now the 8th graders are able to participate in this wonderful experience in terms of displaying their art. So you see some of that on the slide, and you see some of that around the room. This particular artwork, it was too big to bring in here, apparently, so we brought the student instead. So Kayla Mogambi, are you here? Where's Kayla? Somebody help me out. Lynn? All right, you got to stand up. Kayla, thank you. She's a 5th grader at Williams Elementary. You did that all by yourself? I'm kidding. I know you didn't. Don't worry. I won't do that to you. I'll do that to Chris and other people, but not you. All right. So look at that's outstanding. Thank you for your commitment to art and your dedication. So remain standing for just a minute. We also have here the teacher, the art teacher from Williams Elementary. Vatisha. I knew that. It was written right here. But except that, it keeps moving around. But Vatisha Williams, right? Would you? Morton from Williams. Would you please stand up? This is the art teacher. Just a small representation of our outstanding teachers and students. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed lunch. Thank you. As we move on to college and career, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on this. As you know, the Dan Diaper Career Technical Center. This has been an awesome game changer in Arlington. It is just, I can't, there really aren't words sometimes to describe the effect that this has had on our community and our kids. And so we give tours at the Career Tech Center. A lot of them, a lot of tours. And sometimes they tell me to come help with the tour. And I love giving the tour, especially when kids are there and all that. And so gave a tour last year. It was a really kind of memorable day. They're all memorable, by the way, but this one was memorable. A tour at the Career Tech Center. And we welcomed this person. The principal was there. We started walking classrooms with this person, and he wouldn't leave. Yeah, he wouldn't leave. Let's go into this one. Let me look at this, and let me look at this. And he wouldn't leave. The principal left. She had to, I'm kidding. She had to go do something. We went to outstanding experience. But he probably spent the most time on a tour in a very positive way than anybody else has. And that's our Congressman, Ron Wright. Would you please wave, Congressman? And I so appreciate your support for career technical education. We had a wonderful conversation. Thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate that leadership. And if you want another tour, call ahead, just so we have enough time. I'm kidding. By all means, Congressman, thank you so much for your leadership there. So, as you see on the screen, look at 1718. 492 certifications. The 40%, the first year it opened, of our high school juniors and seniors attend the Career Tech Center. In 1819, 1,542 certifications were earned by our students. And 59% of our juniors and seniors go to the Career Tech Center. It is an amazing place, transformative for our students. So let's give them a round of applause. I know Ginger might be here. So we keep looking forward, right? Focus forward. One of the great opportunities here that we have is to host businesses, to come in, do a tour, ask for money, do a tour, ask for money. No, it doesn't work that way. Partnership, etc. Right? Kind of sounds the same, doesn't it? But one outstanding that I want to highlight today is this organization, Flex and Gate. Flex and Gate was one of those companies who recently came to our Career Tech Center. And they came really just to explore and try to understand what are we doing there. And they're a supplier. I hope I get all this right. Okay, they're a supplier, and they're here, by the way, right? Just wave. I will introduce you formally here in a minute. Okay, they're over there just to know. If I'm saying something wrong, I'm not going to look over. They provide the tailgate and bumper for GM and other cars, but let's just talk about GM since we're in Arlington. And so apparently the tailgates and bumpers, not apparently, I know this for a fact, they're much more advanced technologically, right? And so there's much more that goes into designing, not only design, but actually building and providing that part to the vehicle. And so Flex and Gate came because they had also a need for employees, that they knew that because they kept growing. And so they partnered with us. We implemented some of their curriculum. We helped them with testing the students. The students spent time with them. Our teachers spent time with them. And so this year, just this year, we had just started this year, 25 of our graduating seniors received employment by Flex and Gate. $50,000 starting pay. $50,000 starting pay. And my notes say here, $50,000 starting pay and as much overtime as you can work. I'm not kidding. I think that's the way they framed it. So I'd like to recognize Don Cummings, the general manager. Would you please stand? Paul Connolly. Thank you, Don. Nancy Ventura, HR. And so thank them one more time collectively. Appreciate them. And we have Dylan Nunn, who's that recent hire. Dylan, would you please stand up? Recent hire at Flex and Gate and a 2019 Arlington ISD graduate. Dylan, congratulations. So what's next for the Career Tech Center? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So what's next for the Career Tech Center? We're building a partnership with Marriott International. And we've entered into this partnership that will be a game changer as well. And I want to thank ahead of time, before I get to Marriott, I want to thank the Chancellor of TCC, Jean Giovannini. Thank you, Jean. Jean and I have spent hour after hour meeting with different companies, different corporations, to build our case about the need to start in high school and community college and college to meet the needs of the workforce. So, Jean, thank you for your partnership in that. So, Marriott has some 30 different that we're launching this year. They'll be working with our staff to identify hospitality industry engineers, horticulture, culinary arts, and many, many more opportunities. And so today we have Gracie Vega, the director of Marriott. Gracie, would you please stand? And thank you. Stay standing, Gracie. And for the Gaylord Texan and Convention Center, I hope I got all that right. It's all written here. Chuck Pashoni. Chuck, that's as good as I can do it. So Chuck is the general manager, Gracie's HR. Thank you so much for your partnership. We all have been engaged in many, many discussions. When they experience what our students can do, it's outstanding. Don't worry, this is a platform, a building block for the hotels that are coming to Arlington as well, so that hospitality industry can continue to grow and we can continue to serve our students. But we're starting. And so I thank you for your leadership and partnership in that. All right, so our college and career ready. Our collegiate high school, the second class graduated from the early college high school. 90 students earned their associates. 90%, I should say, earned their associates. And you can see that in there on that slide. Again, these are students that at 8th grade, before they come into this program, they're not sure if they can even make it in college. They're not sure if college is for them. Many, many of them, a large portion of it, their family has nobody in their family has gone to college. And they're coming into this early college high school, by the way, which we're opening our second one in August. And this is the kind of success they're having. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by a commitment by our community, our teachers, and our staff. So thank you for that. So let's give them a round of applause as well. Okay, I'm not going to rewind the slides, but I did forget somebody, and I can't live with that, right? So if I find it very quickly, if I don't, then we may have to live with that. We have one of our STEM Academy students that in that solar car that came with Marianne Varner. And as I flip the page, I'm trying to find his name, but here it is. Okay, so, and I just skipped through this one, and I shouldn't have, because he's sitting right there, and when I introduced Flex and Gate, I saw him, and I thought, oh my gosh, what is he doing here? But no, then I said, he looks familiar. We spent a lot of time together. All right, so Andrew Spain, on that solar car with a team of people. Andrew, congratulations. Andrew, because if you're a little older, we can do this to you too. Stay standing a little bit. So, Andrew, outstanding presentation. Exceptionally well. They have a group of people to help build that races. I went out to Martin High School to show me to run, which but they wanted to, and so the track of all places. Now, don't tell anybody this, especially or anybody like that. Wager's the head coach over there. But they put on the track, and then they went around in this solar car. And as important as that solar car is, their inspiration is something that can't be described. As much as we think, they inspire us. Let's. So as I wrap up, so your favorite words as I wrap up, I do want to take this opportunity to remind all a shared and a collective focus, like we've had in these years that we've described, and was just highlights of those successes. When we have a shared vision as a community, things happen. Wonderful things happen for our students. And so much as I don't like talking about the accountability ratings, inevitably when I leave, somebody says, you didn't say anything about the accountability ratings, right? I'm not sure. Okay, they don't say it like that. Maybe they say it a little nicer. But we are, and thanks to a lot of leadership across the district, we are a B in our district. And we have made that big leap. And that we're dealing with major districts with a lot of poverty and things like that. Thank our staff. As much as I don't like the accountability system, but people will ask me. You'll see the actual number. I think it'll make us all very, very proud. I can't announce it now because it's not official. But I can tell you it's a B, and it's a strong B. So thank you so much. Everybody a round of applause for that. So there, nobody comes. You need to about accountability. Listen. So, and collective vision. Like I said, great things can happen. And you know, I used to say, and you probably heard this before, that in a generation, we can change things. We can change things. It takes a generation, and we can change the trajectory of our students. In Arlington, we're changing them not in a generation. When we have a collective force of a shared vision, we should much faster than that. Faster. We have great and students are earning right out of high school 50,000 overtime as you can do. When you have of our staff and our students and our community, it does not take a generation. It takes short years to do this work and to do it. The work is not easy, it's complex, it gets more challenging. Arlington, we have all commitment that play is going to be the best. And not just the best, different ways that things are the best for students and the best for the community and the best for families. And the work that the city does, college, business, we're a force. And I'm so blessed to be part of that force. And I know that the continued commitment as we look forward will change lives. I am convinced of that because we're seeing it every day. And so I appreciate your support of our students primarily. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Marcelo has something else to say. He's terrific. Okay. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever we're ready. Okay, let me do some one things. And by the way, but I know where we are on time.
Yes.
20 years, we are very, very happy that you've been here 20 years. I have a little something I'm going to hand to you afterwards to thank you for your 20 years. I want to thank the staff for district staff and putting this event on today. If you're wondering how you can get involved in the, you're engaged in business or in the community when you leave, there's a trifold brochure on our Partners in Education program. Please take one and learn how you can get engaged. Another way, my wife is here and I'd get in trouble if I didn't mention this. So she's chairing the tailgate party for the AISD Education Foundation on September 6th. That's another way that you can get involved. By the way, it's also her birthday today. So, and I do want to thank the legislature session to have Tony and Bill and Chris and folks that aren't here, like Senator Powell, who was on the Education Committee, and Hancock and Krause, to all come together to put something forward that will move us forward as a business. We couldn't be happier. So let's all give them a big applause again. And back over.
So very quick, our Excellence business partner this year is Flex and Gate. So come on up, Flex and Gate. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much.